It says you are filled with an inexpressible and glorious joy. So, what's happening if we don't feel joy? If we don't feel joyful about our Christian life, is that maybe an indicator that maybe something isn't right? Now, I'll leave that one with you because it's a complicated issue a little bit. It's to discuss with people because we don't always feel happy. But there's a question mark. Do you feel joyful about your Christian life? Next one is an interesting one. Are you exhausted? I think often we can really wear ourselves out. I think that God's way, though, is a way of balance, where He has plans for us, but He also has the spiritual resources that are necessary to fulfill those plans. If we're exhausted, one of two things may be happening. It may be that we're not doing His work in His Spirit. Galatians 3:3 says, "Did you receive the Spirit by observing the law or by believing what you heard? Are you so foolish? After beginning with the Spirit, are you now trying to attain your goal by human effort?" So possibly some of us try and do it all ourselves. We aren't tapping into, we have God's plan, but we don't tap into His spiritual resources, which are there to balance. There's another possibility. We are doing stuff which isn't in God's plan. So often as Christians, we can think we should be doing everything. We have a long list of things we can do. We try and achieve Christian success, whatever that is. There's a set of list of achievements and things you should be seen to be doing, that you have to do, unless you're doing all of those things, because that person's doing that, and that person's doing that, and I need to do all of that, or else I'm not being a good Christian. Well, maybe some of that stuff isn't in God's plan for you. There are things we should all be doing. I'm going to say that because there are things we should all be doing. The Bible does tell us to lead a pure life. It does tell us to tithe. It does tell us to look after the needy and the poor. But there are lots of particular things that each person did, like Moses brought Israel out of Egypt. That isn't actually, I don't think, a plan for any of you guys here. There are different services and ministries within the church, different things that are going to happen, which will be particular to you. And there will be different things which are particular to other people. So we have to discern in those, which of those things God is actually calling us to. There are some things we all should be doing, there are some things that are just for us. And if we're trying to do everything, we will be exhausted. How about realignment? How do you go about realigning if you think things are out of whack? First of all, we need to involve God in everything. Absolutely everything. I don't think there's an area that He wants to be left out of in our lives. Whether it's how much sleep you're getting, what you're doing at work, your relationships, your career. He wants to be involved in everything. And we can involve Him in prayer, in our thoughts, and in study of His Word. We can look at what success in life means to us. Ask ourselves the question, why is it you choose what you do in your life? What is the heart behind the action? We all do things for a reason. What are the reasons? What is the success that is driving you in your life to achieve? Because the success will lead to our goals we set. Then when we've looked at that and see if that's in check with, with what God would say is success in life, you can look at what God has given you. The skills, the abilities, the experiences and passions. All of these things can help direct you in where you might be called to serve and what you might particularly be the plans for you. And just as a brief advert, in about a month's time, Connect will be running the network course, which is a series of 5 or 6 weeks. We will be looking at particularly this issue. We will be looking at your skills, abilities, experiences and passions and see where they possibly may be guiding you. So really do encourage you to be there for that. You'll be hearing more about that. So that's a network course, and hopefully that will be an aid to people. So you've looked at where your success is in life, you've looked at what you've got. Then we need to be looking at what we're doing, looking at our goals, what we're doing in the short, the medium and the long term. and say, do they actually match who I am? Are the things I'm doing, are the things I've chosen to do they even match up to what God has given me and to where I'm aiming in life? You may say, actually, my goals, I might think success is serving God and humble obedience, but if I look at my goals, my career, well, actually, that doesn't match up at all. It's out of sync. And we may have to go back and address what it is that's important, and then we can see what we're aiming for. This is where the action comes in. Because we can think, oh, I would love to be like this in life, I'd love to be a Christian, and we can have the idea of what success is, but unless we put it into action, it doesn't mean very much. We have to put some goals in place and then start working towards them. I think in all of this, we need to get help from our friends and our cell groups, if we're a member of them, our church. It's all very important to share this with people. They will help you along the way. They will encourage you. They will give you guidance. They probably know you better than you know yourself in many ways. Ask someone what your gifts and abilities are. And they can just, as things get hard and as paths don't take the route you expected to, they can be there to support you. So I really encourage you, be part of a close group of friends, share with your cell group, be part of a group who can really encourage you. Finally, be flexible. We won't get it right all the time. We're going to go down paths we shouldn't. We're going to do too much at times. We're going to do too little at times. Forgive yourself as God forgives you. And try again. We have to keep going and going. We have to restart. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do too much. But also, don't be too flexible with yourself. Don't be lax at the same time and find yourself doing nothing. The Christian life isn't one of inaction. Finally, why should we even bother? Why should we even bother to try and meet up to God's image of success in our lives? We're saved by faith, and nothing can take that away from us. But Corinthians 5 says, we live by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and would prefer to be away from the body and at home with the Lord. So we make it our goal to please him, whether we are at home in the body or away from it. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that each one may receive what is due to him for the things he has done while in the body, whether good or bad. Now, although we're saved by faith, there is still a time of accountability. Jesus will say, what did you do with your life and what I gave you? If we take a worldly perspective on our lives, there is no reason we shouldn't live them with whatever goals we want. We might as well follow the career, because if there's nothing after our life, let's go for whatever makes us happy in life. Without heavenly perspective, we might as well live our lives with our own goals. With a heavenly perspective, things remarkably change. In my mind, I think about standing at the top of a mountain and the view you're looking out on it. And Jesus is standing beside you. And there's two of you, there's you and there's Jesus. And you're looking at your life. You're looking back at it. And you're looking down. What's it going to look like? Are you and Jesus going to be going, oh, look, that is fantastic. Oh, bit of a, you went wrong in that bit, but look at that. The awesome spectacle. And he'll go, well done. That is fantastic. There is a heavenly perspective. There is a time when we will be face to face with Jesus and be looking back at our lives. And what will we have done with it? So in summary, was Jesus successful? Do you consider him a successful person in history? And in what way was he successful? If he is a successful figure, then why was it? Do you think about that? How to match that kind of success in your life? And the final question then becomes, are we succeeding?